So the green 6, mostly when you buy beads, you can either buy size, like depending on how much come and form that tree is forming. So the choice is yours on what your measurement may be very big for this project, but I've bended it on one side to make sure I get the exact hold here and bend kiss. To me, the measurements all work out with our Christmas tree shaping, and that remains at this side will actually help us for framing. You will need that it will not include a star. We will use only one star. I'll cut another, the first one, as well as another 40 centimeters, but this I have to bend it on top. I will use the first frame that I made, proper measurements, because these will be working. So we're doing exactly the same process, just that this time the process involves which one has the center point. I can use the first one to make sure that it's even on all sides. Yet we'll do our best to make sure that, but for the frame, it must be 4-sided. Now we have this, but I will put this together when we frame again. We're finalizing the frame now to make sure that our stand, so that I come up with that nice tree. I do this with both frames. Remember, I have to making sure that it is the correct distance. Now we have to make sure a difference. There is too different aside. I'll make sure I cut it also to be equal to the. Make sure that this Christmas tree stands on our wire, not that this glove that you wear, the uniform look. So okay, before even putting the other part here with the star, to lose this, the best way to actually make sure you maintain your work area. So now this is 0, and we will only be tying them at the bottom. This one you may cut just 30 centimeters of this. Put this in between one another, and we will add another wire on top just to make when we are tying, we can tie it in any order so that we maintain using our thin 0. So use any other type of wire as long as it is. I chose it because it actually gives a strong difficult. If you're making a bigger Christmas tree, you realize that, so make sure you have protective clothing. As you can see that all the 30 centimeters of the wire, if to use the way we cut a wire, don't use a breaks. The way it breaks when you use your hand and twist it, gives it a clean. I don't think we don't even need to use a wire on top. And next is the beading process. Ask you to subscribe and like our video. Guwhe, Christmas tree frame, and on how to make your bead and wire art Christmas tree, and on Etsy. And things first, we put this aside. First, when the video started, usually like your Christmas tree will be green, and then it will have beads to be dominant, and then we put all these other thing of which type of wires we'll be using. But I've decided let's put the silver. This also is 0.71. Putting these beads to the wire, and always different size wires. The wire is shaped. If you use a similar size wire nicely with a wire that is in other art, I've also done it myself, like whereby you put good, and we actually want to come up with something that looks 3 meters. So you come up with like, okay, you have to be patient on this one. There are other ways that you can put beads first on the same level, and then you don't lose out on the beads that have already gone in. So, and we'll fast forward the process to make sure. Our beads, now they are on the 0.7 millimeter wire, the big 1.25 wire. I just want to use, I now start twisting the wire, twisting the beaded, so that I come up with a nice coiled. When I'm coiling the beads, I need to make it loose. Make sure you do it to all your wire. Yeah. You come up with all that as a coiled wire. 3, yes. So we will fast forward this. Okay, now that we've come up with, it's time to now make sure that we put the frame. Since we used 0.7 millimeters for our tiny one that we used to put the beads. Okay, so with the number of wires that we have here, so this is 4 different wires going down. I'll need 4 different wires also. Yes, making sure that it always comes is 5 times the less extra also for our wires that I need here. So I need to tie them up here. These wires will have to, that is going down this frame. So remember one thing that we always try and thin wires that are going down. When we start now the beading process, to make sure we maintain the shape, this also will be very, so that this is just mainly so that it may, the beading, you realize that we will have to, you notice that there is this part which doesn't have a wire. We will use pliers, put beads, that like gives us all of it. We need to, I tied it, that you have a neat, actually shows up to become a nice platform. Every part of the wire that we, everywhere I tie, you notice that yeah, the beads are still flexible so that you can move them. You go all the way down again, and that we'll be making. And this beautiful Christmas JNGcape, but as you can see, it's just lots of wires. It becomes a bit confusing to see this wire coming from. By knowing that, as confusing as it will look to everyone, so you know that, okay, this wire has its own 0.5 millimeter, might be working maybe with a 0.9 on the beads. Don't buy a spring wire, because spring wires don't work in this area. You get like the ones out, and really yet halfway through, but I have the stability that I want. Remember, I was still at the star at the top. Should you wish to buy this, I'll get that I made. It's almost coming to an end. Remember, this wire gets also like, you keep your hands, they work out tool in this. You have to actually make you, I'll show you how when this wire ends, I get another one of my coiled wires. Very, very beautiful gift for your loved ones, and I'll be happy to answer and eggs that we do. Okay, not that we've reached. I'll remove all the beads, move them on the other side. Let's cut this. I can put it back to my, so you bend that either with where that one ended. This is it, and immediately when you put it, one that we just added, we still need to pull it. It shows you that you can even make it 6-sided. So you go here, you realize that now one inch is wider, so make sure you, okay, to processing your orders. Yes, that allows us, and we have early enough to avoid any inconvenience. But remember, this is beaded wire. You don't. I bend the sharp edge to go. Okay, so we do it. They work only according to how you make them work. We'll also work together to make it. We've tied it all the way around. Here we just tied it 3 times. We twisted and we have a stable standing Christmas tree and tree. And thank you for watching. Hopefully you subscribe. Just press here, not miss out on any of our videos. Thank you so much for your time.